Restoring the legend, that's what today's review is all about. And it's a new whisky, but it's a reincarnation of an old whisky. So what are we talking about? This here, of course, the McConnell's 5-year-old Irish whisky. Bring it on. What about you, whisky lovers, and welcome to another episode of Whisky Straight with me, Big Al. One of the things that I have really enjoyed about the whisky industry in the last few years is the resurgence of Irish whisky. A lot of new brands are coming up, they're doing really well, and so old brands have been brought back to life. And today we're going to look at McConnell's, an old brand that has been brought back to life just recently. So what is McConnell's and what is the history? Well, it dates back to 1776 when brothers John and James McConnell established a distillery on the banks of the River Lagan, and everything was going sweet right up until 1909 when disaster struck and a fire destroyed the majority of the distillery, and the loss was 500,000 litres of whisky. But having the good old Northern Irish spirit, the brothers said, "The hell with this, this is not going to beat us," and they set about rebuilding and re-establishing what they once had. And once they did that, disaster struck again, and that was in the form of Prohibition. And for those of you who are into whisky, you know that Prohibition just did not affect the bourbon industry. It hit hard on the Irish whisky industry because Irish whisky was massive at that time and their main market was America, and that led to a massive decline in Irish whisky in general that lasted for many years, and so was the case with McConnell's. So how come the brand has been re-established? Well, it's all due to a collaboration between the Kanaka company in America and the Great Northern Distillery just across the border in the Republic of Ireland. They came together with the aim of recreating what was the original recipe for McConnell's. The result is a whisky aged 5 years. It's a blend of grain and malt whisky, and it's bottled at 42% ABV. Now you will notice there in the bottle that the whisky is spelt without an E. And why might that be, you ask yourself? Well, that's because it's not a typo on their behalf. It's not a typo in the title on my behalf. That's the way it was initially spelled. So there you go. So let's get right into it and see if legend is an appropriate word to use in reference to this whisky. Cheers everyone, and if you've got a bottle of this, please pour yourself a wee dram and join in the tasting. If not, if you've got another wee Irish dram or something, pour it and we'll have a wee drink together. Sláinte. So we'll start off on the nose. First off, I've got green apples. There's a floral aroma coming in there, a nice wee hint of white pepper as well. And what's nice too, there's a definite influence of the grain here. It's a wee bit malty too, and there's some cereal notes. And it's really coming across rather pleasant on the nose. Now I'm getting some pear, I'm getting ice and sugar. And it does in some way remind me of summer fields. Like, I know I live in the sticks and I'm a wee bit outside the local village. And as you drive around during the summer, you get that lovely, I was going to say agricultural aroma, but that's not quite right. It's just that lovely fresh fields, a bit of hay. Now I'm getting some marzipan as well, but it's not overpowering. As you know, I don't like marzipan. But overall, I have to say the nose is pretty good and I'm really liking it. Onto the palate. Sláinte. It's got a nice fruity zing. A wee bit of pepper there again. Some floral notes. A wee bit of cereal. A bit of orange as well. Really nice. Apples. Like mashed apples. Like apple tart. Apple tart really. Yeah, pretty impressive first sip, and it's still going on nicely as well. Let's go in again. Now on the second sip, it comes in a wee bit with more of a zing. I was going to say harsh, but that's not the right way to describe it. There's a bit more of a zing, there's a bit more pepper in there, but it's still fruity, it's still floral, apples and pears. But that nice zing really does decry the fact that it's 42% ABV. It's like you're drinking something with a wee bit more oomph to it and a wee bit more body. And that's what I like about this. It's got a creamy mouthfeel. There's a good body there. And you can really now see the maltiness coming into it as well as the grain. So there's not one outdoing the other. They're both there, they both make their presence felt, but they're combined very well and they're very complementary to each other. And I have to say, I really do like the mouthfeel in this. I'm really enjoying this. So let's go in for one more sip and sum up. Again, all those things I've already mentioned. It's grainy, it's malty, it's floral notes, it's a bit fruity, lovely peppery zing with a bit of orange, apple and pear in there as well. It's not wildly complex, but then again, you're not going to expect that from a 5-year-old whiskey. But does it spoil the enjoyment of the drink? No, not in the slightest. You don't always need a whole pile of complexity to enjoy your whiskey. This one really does hit the spot, and it has a lovely mouthfeel, and the finish, it does linger on to a medium to long, and it does retain those flavours. Do you know what? I'm really enjoying this, and it's my first bottle, but it won't be my last. And in terms of a score, I'm going to give it an 85 because I think it's very good. I really do like it. It does what it does, and it does it well. Definitely, if you get the chance to pick this up, I recommend you give it a go. It will not blow your mind, but at the same time, it won't disappoint you. It's a very good start. I don't know if the company's got anything more in its plans for the future, more releases, but I hope they do, because this is a damn good start and it gets a thumbs up from me. If you're local, you can pick this up in the Barbican store in Annalam. Their whisky selection there is coming on leaps and bounds. We've got lots of good stuff there, and there's going to be more to come, so pop in and check them out. If you can't get it anywhere else and you're a wee bit further afield, check online, check with Sarah Kennedy, who is our ambassador. Very helpful lady. Happy start to the weekend, and hope you all have a great weekend. Look after yourselves, look after each other, and you know what the crack is. Keep on drinking your whiskey the way you like it. Sláinte.